Hello and welcome to CoreTV News at 4. I am Frank Omalape, and here are some of the reports we're filing at this time. Boko Haram insurgents in a convoy of Toyota Hilux vehicles and motorcycles attacked Chibok community and carted away several properties and food items before touching many houses in the early hours of Tuesday. Confirming Tuesday's incident in Maiduguri, a military source said the fleeing terrorists from Sambisa Forest of Aran Kautiri village 10 kilometers from Chibok town by touching over 3 dozen houses and places of worship are done. Chairman of Chibok local government, Ba'an Lawan, also confirmed the attack, even as he said no life was lost. Chibok is 126 kilometers south of Maiduguri, the state capital. And now the Senate has hailed the military authorities over the success of recent counter-terrorism operations against Boko Haram in the northeast. The federal lawmakers also urged the troops not to relent in efforts that have seen them reclaim about 30 communities previously held by the Islamic sect. The resolution was on the basis of a motion which incidentally was moved by senators who before now were critical of troops at the front line. And our President Goodluck Jonathan has appointed Ishaya Derek Akau as the new chairman of the Subsidy Reinvestment and Empowerment Program, SHOPI. The presidency statement indicates that Akau would immediately replace retired General Martin Luther Agwai, who until Tuesday was the SHOPI chairman. It was, however, silent on whether the former chief of defense staff left voluntarily or was asked to go. The new SHOPI chairman hails from Jema local government area of Kaduna State and holds bachelor's degree in the arts and law. The presidency described him as high-level administrator in the nation's public service, whose record of service includes 10 years as chairman of the Kaduna State Universal Education Board and chairman of the National Assembly Service Commission. The People's Democratic Party has accused the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Muhammadu Buhari, of committing war crimes during the Civil War. Spokesman for the party's presidential campaign team, Femi Fani-Kaude, said at a press conference in Umuahia, Abia State that Buhari allegedly played some role in the massacre of unarmed civilians in Asaba. He argued that if it was true that the APC candidate was one of the soldiers that took part in the killings, then he should be tried for crimes against humanity. But the APC presidential campaign team has described Fani-Kaude's claim as felonious. It also dismissed the attack on Buhari's war record as a pointer to PDP's desperation. A spokesman, Garba Shehu, warned that the PDP would take steps that are capable of questioning the nation's unity. And now the Arewa Consultative Forum has lashed out at the coordinator of the Oodua People's Congress, Gani Adams, for demanding the removal of the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Ataru Jega. Adams had, amongst others, called for Jega's sack for allegedly creating an additional 30,000 polling units. But the group says the OPC coordinator showed his pedestrian understanding of the Nigerian Constitution and the Electoral law by making such claim. The Northern Nigerian Socio-Cultural Group said in a statement issued by its spokesman, Muhammad Ibrahim, that Adams' reasons were laughable. Yeah, the OPC leaders claim that he has not heard how card readers contributed or add value to any major election in the world, portrays him as ignorant of the digital age where transparency is the hallmark of free, fair, and credible election. The Arewa Consultative Forum spokesman also called upon leaders to guard their utterances, especially on sensitive issues which they are not well informed. With the recent text run of the card readers by the Independent National Electoral Commission, the INEC and the alleged moves by some parties to ensure that the device is not used, different opinions have trailed this outcome. While some hail the test run and the card readers as a game changer, others do not seem to agree. Our reporter Oluwaseyi Adegoke takes a look at the seeming growing fear or otherwise of the card reader.
Issues surrounding the use of card reader for the 2015 general elections has since been generating mixed reactions from different quarters. At the House of Representatives, The PDP caucus says INEC is taking a huge gamble by insisting on the use of the card reader, while the APC caucus argued that the card readers will go a long way in eliminating rigging during the polls. These analysts, Achike Chude and Delia Shiru, are however of the opinion that the card reader is a game changer.
From what I know about the card reader, it is an innovation that is capable of stopping election rigging in Nigeria. And I am of the view that any political party who is worth its salt, that is popular enough to contest this election, should not have anything against the card reader.
In a society that is fast, developing, science and technology on the rise and the rest, and then the mode of doing election remains as crude as it has been for 15, 16 years. So I think this is the right thing. And we have seen the demonstration, the mock exercise that was conducted. If the PDP was afraid about it, then you want the PDP to be involved in that mock exercise. And I want to believe that they sent officials to the field. And what they would have been told by their officials is that some of the fears, if not all the fears that they have been allayed by this, mock exercise that took place in some states in this country.
They both urged Nigerians to ensure the success of the nation's democratic experience.
My opinion is that the card readers are innovative. They are going to help the process of free, fair, credible, and transparent election in Nigeria.
Those people who are uncomfortable with the card readers should concentrate their energy and attention on making sure that those other factors outside of the machines themselves, the card readers, that those factors work, for the benefit of having credible elections.
But Nigerians also wait with bated breath for what happens next in the unfolding drama leading to the general elections. Oluwaseyi Adegoke, CoreTV News, Lagos.
As part of efforts to adequately sensitize voters ahead of the forthcoming general elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission in Oyo State has presented the Breville format voter education materials to the physically challenged to equip them with the necessary information they need to participate at the polls. A correspondent Omotalo has details.
Development of providing the physically challenged electorates with materials in Braille format for effective voter sensitization in the wake of elections in Oyo State have been lauded as an exceptional and landmark achievement by the Chairman Joint National Association of Persons Living with Disabilities in the state. He described the move as long overdue and a good step towards future improvement.
Thank God that the future has been brought into the present. And as I had prophesied, I've just come back from the Holy Land. So probably in the next political dispensation, we will have people with disabilities, especially people that are visually impaired, vying for offices like the governorship and maybe senatorial positions.
The resident electoral commissioner, Rufus Akeju, says such move is to ensure a level playing ground for all eligible voters, regardless of their challenges. He also advised those who have not picked up their permanent voter cards to do so in the course of the extended date of collection closing 22nd March.
2,381,102 cards. 1,637,735 have been collected. We have still in our custody 743,367. Please encourage people that yet to collect their cards to come forward and collect them.
Akeju also used the platform to dismiss claims of an intended vote of no confidence by Rex nationwide against the chairman of the commission, saying it is a lie and a figment of the imagination of the peddlers of such rumor. He, however, called for the vibrant support of the media to disseminate the right information for the electorate to make informed choices.
Let me reiterate the determination of the Commission to continue to nourish a positive relationship with the media establishments in Nigeria, in particular in our state here in Oyo. In order to take our democracy to the next level, we shall make every vote count and consolidate our democracy.
With a renewed focus on voter education by INEC in Oyo State, the expectation from these is a better informed electorate that would make well thought out decisions to signify a clear departure from the past. Omotayo Alo, CoreTV News, Ibadan.
And ahead of the general elections, the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria has called on the electorate to evaluate the performance and antecedents of candidates seeking their votes. This was contained in a press statement released in Abuja and signed by Reverend Father Alexander Dunk, Director of Communications, Just Catholic Diocese and Chancery. With the current wave of tensions associated with campaigns and preparations for the forthcoming elections, the bishops drew the attention of all political actors that they are individually and collectively responsible for the electoral process and its outcome. The bishops acknowledged the efforts of security operatives in the fight against insurgents and called on the government to take more decisive steps towards ensuring the safety of citizens as the 2015 elections approach. They, however, announced the elections of the Catholic Archbishop of Jos, Most Reverend Ignatius Kaigama, as President of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria, and Most Reverend Augustine Akabweze as Vice President for a second term. You're watching CoreTV News at 4. We'll take a short break. We'll be back with more stories after this time out. Stay with us.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
It's CoreTV News at 4 live from our Lagos studio. For more information and our news, like our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can also follow at CoreTV News NG. And for live streaming, log on to youtube.com/CoreTV. Give a space, then news. Imo State Governor Rochas Okorocha says the All Progressive Congress will soon get new members into its fold. The governor, who was a guest at the ongoing governorship campaign of the party in Lagos, says 7 non-APC governors are currently holding a meeting to facilitate their defection to the All Progressive Congress.
Today, about 7 governors who are not APC is coming to hold meeting with us privately to join us. Don't tell anybody, don't tell anybody. Number 2, there's fear in the country. The fear is that they know Buhari is a good man. They know Buhari will win. But there's one fear. The fear is that once they announce Buhari as a president on the 28th of March, all the bad people where they chop our money, they go run for midnight.
As the nation once again stirred the new dates of the general elections, an Osun-based pro-democracy group has warned against any further shift in the dates. The group, which tagged itself the March 28 movement, embarked on a peaceful protest to various critical stakeholders and the electoral process. Our correspondent Rashid filing this report from Osogbo.
The March 28 movement, a pro-democracy group advocating for the sanctity of the election dates of March 28 and April 11 in Osun State and throughout Nigeria. And with this in mind, the group embarked on a peaceful protest to critical stakeholders in the electoral process in the state and speaking at the INEC office to the resident electoral commissioner about their expectation.
What Nigerians are expecting presently is that there should be election comes March 28th and April 11th. So where after that, we'll be expecting a proper handing over to the newly elected government, May 29 this year.
We have been told from our members across the state and the federation that people are buying voters' cards in some states. We want to say categorical no against this, and we are calling on the general public not to sell their voters' card to anyone. And those that have not collected their voters' card should also endeavor to go and collect theirs before the day for election.
Now, things are improving, and we hope that by the grace of God, nothing will change the date of the election. I think you get what I'm saying. So please, let us continue to pray.
But just as the March 28 movement continues its campaign for the sanctity of the new dates of the general polls, others are also on the offensive against political violence. They say the youth are on the receiving end of all violence, either political or otherwise.
Governance in this country is actually very lucrative and people see it as an investment. But the most important thing is that we must get the best among us to represent us, and we shun electoral violence.
If we are claiming that we'll take up the leadership mantle and then we are the ones who are leading violence today, then we know that we are in for a violent future. That's why we need to tell ourselves the truth from today. We are not tools for violence, we are tools to build the nation.
While the intrigues continue unabated, many observers are looking forward to the conduct of the general elections on the rescheduled dates. Rashid, CoreTV News, Oshogbo.
The Nigerian authorities on Monday joined other members of the Commonwealth to celebrate the 2015 Commonwealth Day. The ceremony, which took place at the Education Ministry, also provided government officials an opportunity to reaffirm Nigeria's commitment on cordial relations with other members of the international community. They noted that Commonwealth has afforded the country maximum benefits covering all spheres of human endeavor.
These students, selected from different schools in the Federal Capital Territory, are here in line with the theme of the celebration, A Young Commonwealth. Minister of State for Education, Viola Onwuliri, they now mince words in telling the youths to shun all forms of antisocial behaviors. The youth were also educated on the importance of Commonwealth Day celebration, especially to Nigeria.
The interests of the youth have always been given pride of place in the planning and implementation of policies for change and development. However, we also know that in different parts of the continent, a whole lot still needs to be done. It's a common phenomenon that the period of youthfulness is more prone to restiveness, which can be manipulated for negative and selfish.
What we share through being members of the Commonwealth is more important and worthy of protection than perhaps at any other time in the Commonwealth's existence. We are guardians of a precious flame, and it is our duty not only to keep it burning brightly, but to keep it replenished for the decades ahead.
Students who spoke with CoreTV News called on the government to increase youth initiative programs in the country. They say the occasion exposed them to international events and are now better informed of Nigeria's role among the Committee of Nations.
Yeah, I've learned so much that it's good to give a helping hand to other countries which are not privileged to all these educational systems, to have a hand in them, to help them.
I learned that we should learn to live in unity with us and everybody, even if it's not from Nigeria, any country. We are all one, and learn to live in peace. That's what I've learned. And we come from different places and meet each other in one place, and we'll see different things, and we'll learn to adapt and new things anywhere we find ourselves.
The theme of the 2015 celebration, A Young Commonwealth, is, according to the organizers, a reflection of the Commonwealth's commitment to securing a better future for the youth in the face of security challenges.
A resounding round of applause.
The federal government says it has been spending about 100 billion naira annually on educational projects across Nigerian universities. It also insisted that it has over the years paid special attention to the education sector through provision of infrastructure. Vice President Amadi Sambo disclosed this at a foundation-laying ceremony of a 360-bed female hostel block named after Dame Patience Jonathan and the Modern International Conference Center at the Bayero University, Kano. He added the federal government has approved 1.5 trillion naira from the Presidential Support Fund on education to cater for the needs of Nigerian universities and other tertiary institutions. The Vice President also held an interactive section with members of the university community shortly after the ceremony.
These projects have a total allocation of 11.9 billion naira, while 3 billion further allocation for higher impact projects under the 2010-2014 intervention funds. The police academy at Wudil, which has now been upgraded into a degree awarding institution for a university, has a total of 8 ongoing key projects with a total allocation of 2.4 billion, while 1.5 billion naira was allocated as a take-off grant for the new university under the 2012-2014 intervention funds.
We have deliberately pursued, or we have been pursuing policies geared towards repositioning the university from a predominantly humanities-based university to a science-based one, expanding access through the introduction of new courses and new programs, promoting research excellence through establishment of new research centers, as well as more graduate programs, and deepening academic excellence through training and retraining of staff and so on.
The Plateau State Commissioner for Justice, Oliver Dazim, says the state government had so far spent about 500 million naira on the construction of a high court complex in Jos. Dazim told newsmen in the state capital on Monday that the measure was part of the initiatives to provide conducive environment for the dispensation of justice. She said the essence of the project was to ensure a comfortable accommodation for justice delivery. According to her, the present complex is a legacy given to them, but it requires a change due to the current realities and innovation in the judicial system. Meanwhile, the state chapter of the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, who has been on strike since the year began, had earlier accused the executive of abandoning the court buildings in the state. You're still watching CoreTV News. At 4, we'll take another break. We'll be back with more stories outside Nigeria. Do stay with us.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News.
And outside Nigeria now, the Ivory Coast former First Lady Simone Gbagbo has been sentenced to 20 years in jail for her role in the violence that followed the 2010 elections. Mrs. Gbagbo, 65, had been charged with undermining state security. Her husband, former Ivorian President Laurent Gbagbo, is awaiting trial at the International Criminal Court. More than 3,000 people died in the violence that followed the presidential poll after the US leader refused to accept defeat to Alassane Ouattara. She and her husband were arrested in 2011 after troops stormed a bunker where the pair had taken refuge in the main city, Abidjan. It was in the same city where Gbagbo once called the Iron Lady and known for her fairy speeches face dryer. She was also accused of disturbing public order and organizing armed gangs. Well, and that's a wrap on CoreTV News at 4. Many thanks for watching. We'll be back at 5 for Global News.